The most wondrous and fun experience was we had one of my robotic landers that accompanied the human-occupied vehicle down to the bottom of the Java Trench. And when we were looking at the video later, we saw this creature, which we knew had never been filmed before. It was definitely a new species. And it came right towards the lander, was making a bead for it. And then right when it got to the lander, it turned to 90 degrees. It looked like a big head of a jellyfish, but it had a cable, a living cable stranded from it. I think it had a foot on the bottom. This is a bizarre creature.
Had it ever seen light before?
No, it had lived in complete darkness. And it was on BBC and all this stuff. But I'll never forget sitting in the control room watching this film with my chief scientist, who's the world's expert, Dr. Alan Jameson, on anything that lives below 6,000 meters. And I recall him, our mouths are agape when we're looking at this amazing new creature. And I said, what is that? And in his brilliant Scottish accent, he says, I don't have a effing clue. That's felt special, that we were out there finding new species. And then on the disappointing note, I simply have to confess, and this is kind of a downer, but it's reality. Within 15 minutes of my first dive to the very bottom of Challenger Deep in the Mariana Trench, it's widely reported, but I saw human contamination. Yeah. Pretty sure it was plastic. Undoubtedly, it was a piece of packaging because it had a stylized letter S on it. And it was in the most remote place on Earth. And it beat me there. And that highlighted something that we later learned after diving into 17 deep ocean trenches and taking water samples, is that microplastics were in every single water sample that we had from the very bottom of these trenches, which means simply that it's a pernicious problem. And there's now more plastic in the ocean than there is biomass. And I don't mean to make a big evangelical point on this, but it's a true statement, that with that amount of material in the ocean, it will get into our food chain, it will start affecting us. And we simply have to do better on how can we contain that problem. I'm not saying do away with plastics, because they're so damn cheap and so damn useful, but we simply have to figure out other methodologies to prevent them from ever going in the ocean where you can never eradicate their presence. So that was disappointing. But that's part of the reason that we dove, is to find that out and to confirm it.